I'm telling you, the dusters and the dust bunnies are determined to make Steve a Dusty. Steve is not a Dusty. Some of you are so adamant that he's a Dusty, yet you still refuse to call the real Dusty Gill a Dusty. Now, let's judge who knows a Dusty and who's not. The moment the Dusty, the head Dusty, the senior Dusty of all the Dusties, Gill opened his mouth, I yelled and I screamed, Dusty! And what did y'all say? No, he's not a Dusty J. He's not Dusty. He's not. He's just so tall, good, and he's not a Dusty J. He's not. You so judgmental. I should have worn my judgmental shirt. I so judgmental because of J. He is not a Dusty. And it wasn't until almost at the end of Married at First Sight 14, y'all gonna say, I guess cousin Janice was right. Gil is a Dusty. And some of y'all pick me's and dust bunnies are still refusing to acknowledge that the Dusty is a Dusty who almost 40 just started being a firefighter. What 40-year-old man do you know just starting to become a firefighter whose claim he is saving in his 401k? My 7-year-old knows you don't save in your 401k. Yet y'all want to call this man who submitted himself to getting a college education. Okay, that takes discipline to get in the field he is in, to say he want to retire early, so he's building and saving in order to do that, who got laid off because of COVID, who got a package, who then says, I am going to live on my savings and on my investments. You are determined to call this man a Dusty. But most of y'all has still not accepted that the head senior Dusty of all Dusty is a Dusty. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. I just want to remind you, from the beginning of season 14, season 13, I said Gil was a Dusty. I want to remind you all that. So when I say Gil is a Dusty and Steve is not a Dusty, trust cousin Janice know what she's talking about. Because it took y'all all Married at First Sight 13 to finally admit he's a Dusty. But it's Wednesday morning, boo-boo. We're going to talk about all these, Steve responding to noise accusations. Okay, Steve responded to all that stuff that Noise said. Read, if you didn't see the other video I did about Steve and Noy, what she said, we filed tax, he ain't got no money. I want you to watch that video. I absolutely love you. Thank you. To shout out to all of my new cousins. I love you. Thank you so much for subscribing. Okay, we raw over here at the church, girl. Thanks for those of you who picked up my book or leaving reviews. I am working on some things behind the scenes. I'm going to start revealing some things I've been working on. New book is coming soon, so hang on, girl. Hang on, and be sure to watch my Married at First Sight season 15, episode 1, part 1 review that I posted yesterday. I'm going to try to get to the second part of that today. Be sure to make sure you're subscribed. We are on our way to 100,000 subscribers. But girl, you can't get to 100 till you get to 20. So can I have 20, please? Can I have 20,000 subscribed cousins? I absolutely love and adore you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and get in this. Okay? We're going to go ahead and get in this. And we're going to talk about it. Because no, Steve has not shown me any Dusty vibes. He hasn't said anything that is Dustified. I just think that a lot of people are poverty mentality, and you don't understand how people can live on their savings and on their investments. If you pay attention, you hear Steve and Johnny and Bing are saying they want to retire by 40. Notice you don't hear none of the black ones saying that, because they're gonna have to work till they're 70. But you hear these boys are saying, I want to work and save and invest so I can either live on my savings and my investments and retire by 40. So I want you to pay attention to that. Notice you ain't see none of them, but you see how these boys of different culture who understand finances and says, you know what, I want to retire by 40. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this article. So the real Steve Moy responded to Noy's accusations, and he said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I just want to make sure I'm not missing nothing. I want to read all of them. He said, I'd like to take a moment to speak my truth and refute the inaccuracies and misconceptions being spoken about me in the hope that moving forward. Now, you have Steve, a 36-year-old man who put in the work so that he can live on his savings and his investments at almost 40. And you have a 20-something girl who got on a plane and flew all the way across the country for some man she met on the computer. Now, I'm shocked that girls fly across the country to meet the strange man you just met. But when you gonna fly across the world, that says something to me. So I want you to pay attention to the differences and the character and the integrity of the two. We don't talk about character and integrity no more. Okay? And message be spoken about me in the hope that moving forward, we live in the truth when telling our stories and not resort to falsehood. If it continues, I'll respond as I feel necessary, but won't respond to everything I see that is untrue in an attempt to not be unnecessarily drawn in. I do, however, feel it's necessary that people recognize the goalposts have been shifted and that the door is now open for fabrication. Well spoken. Okay, well, a lot of dusters and dust bunnies can't write like that. Okay, well spoken, well educated. Though his daddy says a vagabond, but no, Steve daddy's like my daddy. My daddy don't understand how Mike can work from home. He don't understand it. What you mean am I work from home? You know, if you get the bank, go, I work, I did job. Dad, Mike work from home. How he work from home? Dad, he works on the computer. So Steve parents don't understand how you can live on your investments, on your savings. Their mentality is they're in that generation like my dad, get up every day and go to work. And this generation are saying, I don't want to do that. I don't have to get up and go to office every day now. We're living in a time where people can work from home. My husband's been working from home going on 3 years. COVID hit 2021. Started 2020, and my husband's been working from home since February. They were supposed to go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, and thank God the boss said no, 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 we're not gonna go down there. And then from the ending of January, that's before anybody else shut down and said no, we're not gonna do that. His job was like, y'all work from home, because they got to take the train to go to Manhattan, and they travel and all of this stuff. So my husband's work, and now my husband is working from home indefinitely. Okay, they don't go in the office no more. Once in a while, they're going in there. Like today, he have to go in the office, but in a given month, my husband don't go in the office. So Steve parents don't understand how he don't have to go into the office every day. Okay, moving along. Okay, let's read. Steve says Noy was fully involved in the conversations about how our relationship wasn't working. And at one point, we were in agreement for weeks. She eventually had a change of heart, but this decision wasn't sudden or always one sided. Noy asked me to hold off on making any public announcements until late July. So remember, in Noy's statement, he said, don't tell nobody, okay? There have been times since then where I asked her if we should go public now sooner, but she preferred not to. I've never asked her to keep quiet about it or tried to silence her. I most certainly claim, listen to this, I most certainly claim income on my tax returns. She hasn't seen any of my accounts, not all my accounts, any of my accounts, but we have had plenty of conversations around finances. I've also made compromises around the timetable for getting back into my previous career. See, people are thinking, broke people with broke mentality who live paycheck to paycheck are thinking, well, if you're not going into the office and how you can gain income. He said he's doing freelance work. Okay. Do you know how much I pay those girls to do freelance work for me to edit my book? I have a book, my number one book that I'm redoing. I pay one editor $1,200 to edit a book, to get it up to 2022 standards, because it was written and published in 2010, 2011, and now a lot of things has changed. So he had to do all the work to get it to 2022 standards. Okay. That's one person. Then I paid another girl $500 to proofread it for me to make sure the edit is right. I'm not done. Then I'm going to pay another girl $100 to do a cover for me. How much is that? $1,600, right? Then I have to pay my formatter. That's 90,000 words. She's gonna probably charge me $100 to format it because I've been working with her. So freelancers get paid. My editor, he only edits. So if he charged me $1,200, I only paid him $1,000. He say, give me $1,000. $1,200, $1,000 to edit one book. Excuse me. And they give you a timeline. I need 30 days to edit this one book. Okay. Now, it's interesting. He said she hasn't seen any of my accounts. How many accounts y'all got? So let me go, because, broke people with broke mentality who live paycheck to paycheck, you think all that's out there is just a single checking account. So let me run over the accounts that I have. My husband and I, we have a regular checking and savings. That is where we pay our bills are paid for. My husband's income goes in there. He is sole provider. He provides. My husband pay all of our bills. And so in that checking account, that is our housing account. And then in your savings, you don't, in the bank, you don't keep much in it because you don't, they don't give you no interest on it. So you just keep a little water in the bottom of the savings account, in the regular checking account. Okay, that's one. Number two, then we have a savings account. Another savings account, that's where we save for stuff. So example, Alexia's birthday is coming up. We know she's going to want to go away and do something. So we've already have the savings account, the money, $2,000. And in there, we're not going to go far. We're not going to do much. But because we have to get our specialized hotel room, that is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom suite, we know that's going to run us about $1,000. So we have the regular savings. That's where you save for stuff that's coming. Next year, we know where we want to go for a 10-year anniversary. Well, it's not where we want to go. My husband's going to be working, so that's where we go. And then the following year, we want to go to Jamaica. And then the following year, we want to go on a cruise. So we already started saving for that, okay? Number 4 is our emergency fund. Our emergency fund is the account you have where you're putting money in there because you don't know what's going to happen. COVID is going to happen. People's going to get laid off. People get sick. Stuff happen. And so you want to have an emergency fund. Financial advisor says 3 months. Now they're saying 6 months. And now they're pushing for a year. So my husband and I, we are trying to save for years of emergency fund. So our monthly expenses is, let's say $5,000 is our monthly expenses. So 5,000 times 12 is $60,000. So our goal is to have $60,000 in our emergency account because that's 1 year's worth of emergency fund. That is for those of you who have, what if your husband get laid off, he gets sick? We got an emergency fund, okay? Now, next to the emergency fund, you need to put in a money market account or a high interest savings account. Okay, so you could get your little interest. So our emergency fund is not with the banks around here. Okay, then talking about your retirement, you need to have your 401k or 457. My job does not have a 401k. We have a 457, but then my job also have a pension. So they're going to take that money out if you agree yes or no. And so because my job has a pension, a lot of people, the new millennials, they don't want to put no money in their 457 because I got a pension. Well, I have the pension and I got the 457 because I like to be comfortable. So when I retire, I don't want to be stressing and So I discipline myself. I've been investing since 24, 25. Discipline myself. So yes, I have the pension, but sir, go ahead and take out the same amount you're taking out for my pension. Take that out for my 457. Then you need to have a 529 for your children. Black people, your kids get 18, you start looking at them crying. For Quan won't go to college. Where am I going to get the money? You had 18 years to think about and plan what your child is going to do when he get older. You know what poverty is? Poverty is you ain't got choice. That's poverty. When you don't have a choice, you give your kids choice and options. You have 18 years. So when little Michael get to college, listen, little Michael is fine. We're going to pay for his college. We're going to pay for everything little Michael do because it is our responsibility to prepare him to be a prepared man, to be a good husband. Okay, then I have a Roth IRA. You could have a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. What is an IRA? It's an individual a retirement account. The government said, y'all lazy, you are all bums, y'all don't want to save for your retirement. So here, you can save $6,000 a year if you are under 50. In addition to any of the other retirement accounts you have, you can save an additional $6,000 a year towards your retirement. If you are over 50, you can save $7,000. So we put $7,000 in Mike's Roth IRA, and we put $6,000 in my Roth IRA. Then we have an investment account. Okay, that's like, you want to trade or do stuff like that. I don't trade because I don't got the knowledge to trade. Okay, so we both each have a Roth IRA, and then we have a joint investment account that we can do other things with that we want to do. Then the boys now, Steve, Johnny, Bing, are having crypto. I'm learning about crypto. I don't understand it, but I'm going to learn. Okay. Then those boys, they probably, Nate, he's a day trader. He has a trading account. To me, a trading account is like a regular investment account. Okay. And then if you have businesses, then each of your business should have a separate business account. That's how many was that? 12. I out of the 12, I have 11 of those accounts. Okay. No, I have 10. Okay, my regular investment account is like my trading account. I don't trade. I just have money in there in stocks. But if I want to trade, that's the account I would buy, I would use. Okay. So when Steve says he didn't see any of my accounts, boo boo, how many of those 12 accounts did I just say that you have? I just want to know. Test yourself about your finances and financial literacy, and tell me how many of these accounts you have. But you want to call Steve a Dusty. Okay, girl. Now get back to this. But see, Noi, she young millennial, like a hood chick. She don't know nothing. She all she knows is the regular bank account. Let's read on what Steve says. So he said she hasn't seen any of my accounts. I just read 12 accounts, and there's probably more. This may sound silly to refute, but I love sushi and have checked on him several times. When he initially got sick, I bought him high quality refrigerated dog food and delivered it at a time when we weren't speaking. I believe in the power of food as medicine and saw my brother dog Dexter health significantly improve after making a similar change. Noi, I understand that you are hurt by all of this. We both are. The problem is in the way it's being handled. You see there? Noi is the get a hood chick. Steve he's a professional business, almost 40-year-old man who's like, this is not how you handle stuff. The way it's being handled. When you say these things as a way to respond to the pain you feel, you end up further hurting me, yourself, our family, and friends, as well as everyone who watched and became invested in our story. While we all can mourn the loss of what we shared collectively, the pain we feel is ours to carry and work through. Although I am very upset that somebody I love and care about is speaking about me in this way, I'm doing all I can do not to become reactive. See there? Man is controlling his emotions and his feelings. He's like, I'm not going to become reactive. That's what a man do. Feminine men like the Dusty becomes reactive. Okay? And instead attempt to be understanding and somehow be constructive. I promise you it's not easy to put my ego and pride aside in these moments. It's still not too late to change our story. Let's try to make it about healing and growth as opposed to what it's becoming. I've struggled with the decision to speak these truths after seeking counsel from important people in my life. There are arguments for both remaining silent and coming forward. I'm doing it with hope that it doesn't trigger or perpetuate further negativity from either Noi or the people that are invested. We are capable of expressing our feelings and opinions without being hurtful and encourage people to do so. Lord, that's powerful. Is it that powerful? That's beautifully stated. Where's the one about his taxes? He says, I most certainly claim, let me take this off. I most certainly claim income on my tax returns. She hasn't seen any of my accounts, but we have had plenty of conversation around finances. I've also made compromises around the timetable for getting back into my previous career. So he said, I most certainly claim income on my tax returns, because everybody was wondering, well, you made all this money from Married at First Sight. How come y'all didn't do taxes? And she said, well, he didn't. He put zero. He said, I most certainly claim taxes. She hasn't seen any of my accounts. I just read 12. And he was making compromises in going back to his previous career. So what that means is, and for me, my husband can't be like Nate. I need a paycheck. Okay, I need a paycheck. So he's saying he was compromising going back to get a regular paycheck. You know, every 2 weeks you gonna get that paycheck. Every 2 weeks it's gonna come in the bank. So he's saying he was making the compromises to go back to that versus being a freelancer. So let me know what y'all think about all of this. What do y'all have to say about it? Steve is not a Dusty. Dusty don't save. Dusty don't plan to retire at 40 because the Dusty is just starting a firefighter at 40. Dusties don't invest. Dusties can't live off savings and investments. Dusties are not creating multiple streams of income. They don't have the capacity to do so. Finally, he says, thank you all for the positive and encouraging comments and messages I've been receiving through this tough time. They mean so much. Okay. These boys coming up now, Steve, Bing, even though Bing is an engineer, Johnny, they're doing all this extra stuff that people with poverty mentality don't know about. You're too lazy to read and study, and you're too cheap and broke to invest. Okay, you don't have the discipline. My job, pension, 457. Then I do a Roth IRA. Then I do a regular investment account. My husband, same thing. He doesn't have a pension, but he has a 457, 401k. As a matter of fact, I got a little Michael 529 plan, and I was like, I wanted to cry. I got my investment, and I was like, ooh, and I got my husband's investment. I said, you know what? I'm not opening it. I told Mike, I'm not gonna open it because the market has been bad. You know how long the Democrats been in office. You know the Democrats have a spurt of poverty on them. Okay. The Democrats got in office, and the market says whoosh. Soon as the Republicans get in office, watch, the market's gonna go all the way up. Republicans have a spread of wealth on them. I don't care what y'all say. You better pay attention to spirits. So is Steve a Dusty? Hell no, he ain't no Dusty. The real Dusty is this broke, baby making hips, abusive Dusty of a man. That's a Dusty. That's a Dusty. I love you. I have to go. Remember to show me love in my Patreon. My new book's coming out. Working on some things behind the scenes. You're going to be happy about it. Working on my courses. You're going to be happy about it. So you can start, saving up. Saving up. One of the courses I'm working on is the husband list. If you want to build your husband list, I will have a course that you can do that. Love you. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you. Let me know what you think. I'll be in the comments today. I want to know what you think about this. Bye. Love you. Bye.